Good morning, good afternoon, and good night whenever you're finding the time to come back to the channel. Welcome to Fran's Faith Journey. We are picking up today, chapter 15. We are reading through the book of Luke. If you are new here, we are doing an advent of reading the Gospel of Luke. There are 24 chapters in this particular gospel, and so we are taking one day with one chapter, reading up until Christmas, and by the end of it we will have known about the birth of Jesus Christ, his ministry, his them arresting him, his crucifixion, his death, burial, and resurrection, all within one chapter, all within one book. So we are doing that. Today we are picking up in chapter 15. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let's go. Chapter 15, verse 1. And in my Bible, the title here, it says Parable of the Lost Sheep, okay, of that particular chapter. Yes. All right. Verse 1. Tax collectors and other notorious sinners often came to listen to Jesus teach. This made the Pharisees and teachers of religious law complain that he was associating with such sinful people, even eating with them. So Jesus told them this story. If a man has 100 sheep and one of them gets lost, what will he do? Won't he leave the 99 others in the wilderness and go to search for the one that is lost until he finds it? And when he has found it, hold on, my pages are sticking. Okay. And when he finds it, will joyfully carry it home on his shoulders. When he arrives, he will call together his friends and neighbors, saying, "Rejoice with me, because I have found my lost sheep." In the same way, there is more joy in heaven over one lost sinner who repents and returns to God than over 99 others who are righteous in heaven straight away. So powerful. Verse 8. This is called the Parable of the Lost Coin. In my Bible, that's the title. Okay, so, or suppose a woman has 10 silver coins and loses one. Won't she light a lamp and sweep the entire house and search carefully until she finds it? And when she finds it, she will call in her friends and neighbors and say, "Rejoice with me, because I have found my lost coin." In the same way, there is joy in the presence of God's angels when even one sinner repents. I just have to stop and say this. I heard it said by a pastor, I believe it was on a podcast one day, or maybe he was a teacher. I'm not sure where he was in the fivefold ministry, but he said, we have to, the things that we honor, the things that make us excited here on earth are very different from what makes heaven excited. And he was like, and I'm not quoting him, but he said something to the degree of, think about it, we get excited when someone graduates from school, which we should. Someone, gets a raise, they get a promotion, they pay off their debt, they have a new baby, they get married. Those are the things that get us excited, and they very well should be, right? Those are some big milestones in people's lives. Those are exciting times, right? But heaven, literally all of heaven, rejoices when one person repents and gives their life to Christ. And I just thought that was just so, I don't know, it hit home, because it just goes to show how, God's ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. And it's like I said, I know that those things should be exciting, but just to think of how the angels and God and everyone in heaven get so excited, and they throw a party, they throw a feast when you're repenting and turning your life over to Christ. And I just thought that was amazing. All right, picking up, I'll read verse 10 again. In the same way, there is joy in the presence of God's angels when even one sinner repents. So just to recap. All right, verse 11. To illustrate the point further, Jesus told them this story. A man had 2 sons. You all may have heard of the story 1,000 times. A man had 2 sons. The younger son told his father, "I want my share of your estate now, before you die." So his father agreed to divide his wealth between his sons. A few days later, this younger son packed all his belongings and moved to a distant land, and there he wasted all his money in wild living. Okay, so he was ratchet. Verse 14, about the time his money ran out, a great famine swept over the land, and he began to starve. He persuaded a local farmer to hire him, and the man sent him into his fields to feed the pigs. The young man became so hungry that even the pods he was feeding the pigs looked good to him. Wow. But no one gave him anything. When he finally came to his senses, he said to himself, at home, even the hired servants have food enough to spare, and here I am dying of hunger. I will go home to my father and say, Father, I have sinned against both heaven and you, and I am no longer worthy of being called your son. Please take me on as a hired servant. So he returned home to his father, and while he was still a long way off, his father saw him coming. Filled with love and compassion, he ran to his son, embraced him, and kissed him. His son said to him, Father, I have sinned against both heaven and you, and I am no longer worthy of being called your son. But his father said to the servants, Quick, bring the finest robe in the house and put it on him. Get a ring for his finger and sandals for his feet, and kill the calf we have been fattening. I just think that is so key. It sounds as if there's been a preparation, a hope that this son is going to return. You know, the dad has, I have a hair sticking out. The dad has been fattening this calf, like for some reason, for some feast, for some party, right? Okay, verse 23 again. And kill the calf we have been fattening. We must celebrate with a feast. For this time, where are we at? For this son of mine, no, wait, where am I reading? I'm picking up at 23. And kill the calf, bloopers, guys. 23. And kill the calf we have been fattening. We must celebrate with a feast. For this son of mine was dead and has now returned to life. He was lost, but now he is found. So the party began. Meanwhile, the older son was in the fields working. When he returned home, he heard music and dancing in the house. And he asked one of the servants what was going on. Your brother is back, he was told, and your father has killed the fattened calf we are celebrating because of his safe return. The older brother was angry and wouldn't go in. His father came out and begged him. But he replied, All these years I've slaved for you and never once refused to do a single thing you told me to. And in all that time, you never gave me even one young goat for a feast with my friends. Yet when this son of yours comes back after squandering your money on prostitutes, you celebrate by killing the fattened calf. His father said to him, Look, dear son, you have always stayed by me, and everything I have is yours. We had to celebrate this happy day, for your brother was dead and has come back to life. He was lost, but now he is found. That is the end of chapter 15. So much is packed into that. I mean, we had 3 parables. One about I know in other teachings it's called the prodigal son. This is the parable of the lost son. And, so many of us are the lost son, where we go astray, we squander the things that have been provided to us, or even if not materialistic things, I don't know how to say this gently, so I think I'm just going to say it the way I'm thinking of it. Like, we squander God's mercy and grace. Like, we really just, we walk all over it. We don't respect it. We don't honor it. And then, when the Holy Spirit softens our heart enough, we are able to realize, like, oh my goodness, it has been God the whole time that has been supplying me, that has been providing to me. And so we are all in some way the lost son. We are all in some way the prodigal child. And so it just, the father ran to him. He embraced him. He kissed him. He didn't say, nope, let me read you off every single thing you did wrong. He didn't do that. He understood the compassion and the grace to give to his son. And then you have the older son who, is mad. And I mean, in so many ways, human-wise, I can understand. I'm not going to say he has a right. I'm going to say I understand. I really do. But I think the Holy Spirit can also soften that heart too, to be more compassionate and to have more grace and mercy for his own brother. So we're going to end right there. I am excited to be picking up in chapter 16 tomorrow. I hope you guys loved the reading today. I know I did. Don't forget to thumbs up, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's reading. Bye.